our keynote speech. For this, we went very far to find one of the key players in the global innovation ecosystem, a top voice, and someone you need to follow closely and listen to. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Chukwuemeka Afigbo. He will be speaking to us today on the topic, Bridging the Digital Divide, Unlocking the Power of Technology for a Greater Anambra. Mr. Chukwuemeka Afigbo is a Senior Director, Developer Success, Workforce Identity Cloud of Okta USA. He works at Okta. His work at Okta is concerned with making sure that developers who are building with Okta are successful by ensuring that they have access to the right developer content, developer support, and community programs that they need. Before that, Mr. Chukwuemeka worked on driving Facebook Global Developer Community Program strategy. Also, at Facebook, he led the platform partnerships team in the Middle East and Africa, working with different content partners and developers in the region as part of Facebook Drive to make its platform more relevant in the day-to-day lives of people all over the world. At Google, from 2011 to 2015, Mr. Chukwuemeka was a program manager in the developer relations team, leading developer programs in sub-Saharan Africa. Before Google, Mr. Chukwuemeka worked as a software developer and later as a strategic business development manager in projects and initiatives that took him across sub-Saharan Africa and the Indian subcontinent. These projects and initiatives span the education and electronic payment verticals. He is a graduate of electronic engineering from the University of Nigeria and holds a master's degree in technology innovations management from Carleton University in Ottawa, an MBA from Quantic School of Business and Technology. He also holds a certificate in advanced project management from Stanford University. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our keynote speaker? Type in the chat, tell me in the chat, are you ready for our keynote speaker? Let me see your fire emojis. Tell me you're ready. How much are you ready? Yes, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat. Person is saying yes. Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I want to see more reactions in the chat. Tell me you're ready. Are you ready to hear from him? You've heard his profile. He wears so many hats and he's ready to share with you from his wealth of knowledge and experience. So tell me you're ready to have him. All right, all right. So at this point, I'll be inviting Mr. Chukwuemeka Afigbo. Please, sir, you're welcome. The floor is yours.
All right. How is everybody? Good evening. I believe it's evening over there right now. I'm Chukwuemeka Afigbo. It's really, really great to be here. And before I start, I'd like to thank the Solution Innovation District for putting together this event. You know, events like this are really what make a community thrive and grow. And I know from experience what it takes to put together something like this, and that is not easy. So really want to, you know, give my props to them for putting this together, Chinwe and the team. You know, thank you for doing this. Talking to you guys today. It's not every day that I get to talk to my own people, you know, so this is really great. Like, you know, like the MC said, I'm based out here in California, so I had to wake up early to be part of this, but really, really worth it. I'm going to keep this as short as possible so that we can open up time and have some interaction. I want this to be as interactive as possible because this is a really great opportunity that we all have today. And I want to be able to answer your questions regarding why you should be taking advantage of it. By way of introduction, again, like the MC said, you know, I grew up in Nigeria. I only left Nigeria in 2015, to be honest. I grew up in Osaka, which is probably not far from where many of you are dialing in from. I went to UNN. If there are any lions in the house, you can identify yourself, any great lions and lionesses. I went to UNN, I studied electronic engineering. And the interesting thing there is, you know, I got interested in computer science, you know, from an early age. But like many of you, I'm sure, I didn't have a computer, you know. I only got to touch a computer once. By touch, I mean like just touch, not that I even put it on. I only got to touch a computer once before I entered university, right? And I didn't get my own computer until I was in my final year of university. That was when I managed to get my own computer. But that didn't stop me from being interested in computer science or information technology. I started programming when I was in my second year of university using pen and paper. You know, I used to program on a notebook on a pen and paper. That's how I learned to program. And I programmed on pen and paper for about maybe 2 years, 2.5 years before I could get my own computer. And when I graduated, I was very fortunate, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about. I was very fortunate that the people I used to hang out with, the friends I made, were also interested in the same thing as I was. And, you know, it was those friends who recommended me for my first job. You know, all of us used to move together. We were all interested in trying to grow ourselves using information technology. And they were the ones who recommended me for my first job. And, you know, from that job as a programmer, you know, I began to grow my career step by step. Somewhere along the line, you know, you heard that I got my master's degree in technology innovation management from Canada. And when you hear that, the first thing that will come to your mind is, oh, this guy traveled to Canada to get his master's. But that's actually not true. I got my master's while I was still in Nigeria. I got it by doing an online master's. I was one of the first people. In fact, Caltech University opened up that master's program. I was one of the first set of people to do that master's program when they opened it online. Right? So I got that master's degree online while still in Nigeria. You know, in fact, I had tried to go to Canada several times and they denied me visa, you know, several times, and I gave up. And the university contacted me and said, hey, we remember you are trying to get a visa to Canada. We're starting this program now. It's going to be online. Are you interested? You know, and that's how I said, okay, let me try. And I was working, I was using my salary to pay my school fees. And that's how I got that master's. Now, when I finished that master's, basically what it did for me was that it opened my eyes to the fact that technology is more than just writing code, right? So a lot of you may think that, oh, this program is about, hey, come and learn to be a programmer. Yes, eventually you may get there, but there's more to having a career in tech than just writing code. There are other careers within technology. There's business analysis, there's project management, there's product management, there is quality assurance. There are a ton of other careers in the tech space. And that's what my master's helped me to realize. And from there, I moved from being a programmer to being a business development person, right? And basically what I used to do was to help the company I was working for to find new areas of business within tech, still based in Nigeria, mind you, right? And while I was doing that, that was when I started doing community organizing, right? Basically this kind of events, you know, I used to put together this kind of events as a volunteer, right? For Google. Google was just coming into Nigeria then. They didn't know anybody in the developer space. And I used to help put together events like this where other developers would come together to learn from each other and learn Google tools and teach each other and help each other grow, right? And it was through that I got my job. I'm trying to cut the story very short. It was through that I got my job working with Google in the Sub-Saharan African team. And eventually I helped grow the Google Developer Group program, which some of you may have heard of, not just within Nigeria, but across Sub-Saharan Africa. I even did some programs outside the region as well. And so from there, Facebook came calling. Basically, it was for me to kind of do the same thing I'd done at Google for Facebook, because they were also just getting into the continent. And so I joined Facebook and I became the lead for the Middle East and Africa program, right? And that was when I left Nigeria, actually, right, in 2015, before I moved to the US to help lead their developer programs strategy globally. And, you know, now I work at Okta, where, like you heard, I lead the developer success team. Okay, so I'm deliberately telling you this story to see that basically, you know, I started where all of you are today. I started where all of you are today. Let me just show you. So let me show you. Let me quickly share my screen, if you can see. So can you guys see this picture? So I don't know how many people can recognize me in that picture. This was me in university. This was the day we finished our project defense in Nsukka. And these are my classmates at the time. That's why we're all wearing tie. It's not like we all dress like that every time. It was because we finished our final year project defense in Nsukka. And this is me as well, with some of my classmates on the day we wrote our final exam to graduate, right? And this is me in my first job when I just moved to Lagos. One thing you can see, we didn't even have tables in the office. This thing you see here is a carton. The laptop this guy is using is on top of a carton. We didn't even have tables in that office. And this is me later on when I started organizing developer events. All right. And some of you may remember when Mark Zuckerberg visited Nigeria, and that was when this picture was taken as well. So, you know, I'm sharing this again just to make you understand that basically what you need to do is put in the effort and put in the work, and there is nobody who can predict where you're going to end up. This is the time, you know, this is the time for technology to rule the world. And the question is, what is your role in that? That's the question you should be asking yourself. To share some information about what's going on now, you know that this is like global expansion of technology now. There's a global explosion in tech. Every company today is a tech company. Every company today is a tech company, whether you like it or not. The telcos, the banks, name it, they are tech companies today, because you cannot survive without having some form of technology in what you're doing. And so because of this, all of them need to hire people in tech, right? So there's a lot of demand for jobs in technology. And by jobs in technology, I don't just mean developers. Like I said, there are so many different roles in tech, right? So even, you know, a place like GT Bank, for example, needs to hire a lot of people in tech, and they're looking for people. A lot of the startups you see today raising a lot of money need to hire people to do the work to justify the money they've raised. So there's a lot of demand. And this demand is not just in Nigeria, it's all over the world, right? Even here in the States, there's still a lot of, even with the economic downturn, there's still a lot of demand. Now, in the past, many companies used to go to India to hire people for technology outsourcing. But India today is becoming even more expensive because a lot of people are going there to hire resources. And so what happened? People switched their attention to Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, all those places, Poland, and so on. Well, guess what? Because of the disturbances in Ukraine today, a lot of the talent in Ukraine and Eastern Europe is no longer as available as it used to be. So now attention is now shifting to Africa. Okay. And the reason is because there are a number of reasons why Africa is the next destination. One of them, Chinwe already mentioned, because Africa's population is very young. There are people like you who are ready to work, smart people, young people who are ready to work if given the tools. Another thing to consider is that in Africa, Africa is in what I call the golden time zone, which is the Greenwich Mean Time, right? So anybody like me, I'm based in California. If I'm going to talk to somebody in India when it is their morning, that means I need to be up at around 12 midnight. If I'm going to be meeting with somebody in Ukraine, that means I'm going to be up at around, I don't know, maybe 5 a.m., 4 a.m. But if I'm meeting with somebody in Africa, like this meeting we're in now, that means I could be up by 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., which is something that you can't take for granted. And it's very important when we're talking about global business. Another thing is that Africa is largely English speaking. So many of you here speak English. You know, that means that when you get a job, either with a Nigerian company or you're working remotely or whatever, they don't need to train you in how to speak English, which is a big deal, right? So all these things, even in Nigeria, like I said, despite the economic downturn, the tech sector is still doing very well. So all these things put together is saying that this is the time for young people to take interest in technology as a career path to build themselves. You know, during my time, you know, when I was programming on paper, I didn't have these kind of opportunities. There was nobody doing a program where they'll say, come for training at the end, we'll give you have opportunities to win laptop. It never existed. It never existed. So now you have this opportunity right there at your doorstep. The government is putting money, putting resources, putting time into providing these opportunities for you, right? And that's the thing. If there's two things that you need, you know, that I found that helped me in my career, if you're going to ask me what were the things that helped me, there are two things. One was access to knowledge and resources. The other was access to community and network. And that is what this program, the Solution Innovation District program, is providing you or is offering you if you're going to take it up. Right? There are a lot of training resources for you, you know, to upgrade yourself and learn more. And you're going to have access to a community. Community is very important. The pictures, in fact, the first 3 pictures I showed you when I was in school, 2 of the people in those pictures are now the founders of a company called Trade Depot. I don't know if you've heard about Trade Depot. They are one of the top unicorn companies in Nigeria. Another one of them is the founder of another company called Venco, which is one of the top property management company, technology companies in Africa, I would even say. We have people there who built serious careers in different fields of work. Now, when all of us were in that picture together, none of us knew that we will be, you know, that we are going to get to that level. All of us were just hustling, hungry, looking for food here and there, drinking garri, jumping Okada, you know. But fast forward several years later, you know, the story has changed, but we are still friends. They were the people who recommended me for my first job. So it is the people you meet in programs like this that are going to form the bedrock of your success or failure, as the case may be, depending on if you choose the right friends, right? So if you meet the right people, which is what a program like this is going to give you, you have a platform to build your success on. I've spoken too much. I wanted this to be interactive. There's so much to say, but I'll stop here. I'll say, take advantage of this program. You know, you've got your phone, you've got internet access. If you're able to join this call, it means you're able to take advantage of the program. And you have nothing to lose. Just do it. Give it a chance. 2 weeks of your time, you know, however long it takes, just try it out. Just try it out. But I can guarantee you, one thing I can guarantee you, this is a guarantee. If you're serious with programs like this and other programs that are available, there is no way within the next 6 to 12 months, you cannot get a job that will pay you some good money. That's a guarantee. That one I know for a fact. It's not Nagwaramagwa or anything like that. I know, I've seen it happen over and over and over and over and over. But the question is, are you going to be serious about it? Right? There are people like you who started like you, who today are earning from Nigeria. They are in Nigeria, but they are earning upwards of $500, $1,000 a month from working for foreign companies. All they have is their laptop, their internet access, their generator. And they are working, either doing business analysis, project management, writing code, data science, and so on. Anyway, so I'll stop here. I don't know if there are any questions, or I can take a few questions before. I know we're even over time, but and I apologize for that.
Thank you very much, sir, for that amazing keynote speech. Right now, we'll be taking questions. If you have any question for our keynote speaker, please drop it in the chat. But if you want to ask your question yourself, just raise your hand and I'll be calling you up to ask your questions. So right now, I see a number of hands raised. Okay, I see some questions in the chat, so we can start with the ones in the chat.
Okay, I think I see them. Okay. Are you going to be asking them, or should I just read them out?
Okay, so you can go ahead. Okay.
I saw somebody's asking, Ifatu Chizoba is asking, how good is UI UX? Yeah, it's great. You know, front end design is one of the, shall I say, easier ways to enter into coding. If you have a design, you know, if you have an eye for good design. And when they are also very scarce as well, people who know how to do it very well are very scarce. So if you learn it properly, you're definitely gonna get you know, opportunities very quickly. So UI UX is a very sought after skill, not just in Nigeria but all over the world. Let's see. Grace Elemore is asking opportunities that awaits a digital marketer. I mean, the opportunities are endless. Digital growth marketing is also another very niche area that if you're good at, you know, a lot of people need you. Businesses need you, all these startups need you. Basically, your job is to put information out there in the digital space that attracts users or customers to a product. So you need to know how to use Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. Not just for taking selfies, but you need to understand the business side of it. And all these platforms have free courses that you can actually do to understand that. And you can do them on your phone, right? And you can learn and start small. Let's see. Charles says, where do we really start? You're already in the right place, you know. So I would say a good place to start is I'm assuming this like your first entry into the digital space. So attend this training that is coming up, right? And what I'll tell you is, don't just stick to, attend the training, go through the materials, get the certificates, but look at anything they teach you in that training. Go to the internet and read wider about that thing. You have your phone, you have your internet connection. So for every topic they teach you, go on YouTube, watch more videos, see what other people are doing and widen your experience. That will give you an advantage over other people who are doing it, but you're already in the right place. Let's see, what's the best approach to learn programming? Well, do you have a computer? That's the first thing, or even a phone. If you have a good smartphone, you can actually start learning on your phone. It's not the easiest way, but it's very possible. I learned with paper, so having a phone is even better. There are a lot of free resources. I'm sure there's going to be a programming course coming as part of this program in later cohorts, so you can look out for that. But if you're itchy to start, there are so many resources. I'll put one in the chat. There's one called freecodecamp.org, right? Let me put it in the chat. freecodecamp.org, right? That's a very simple one. On your phone, you can already start doing stuff. You can even just do a Google search, beginner tutorials, programming that I can do on my phone. Just do a Google search. You're going to find a lot of things to start with. Okay, I am hustling to go through this. How do I transition to data science? Again, there are many courses coming. Basically, if you stay with this program, you're going to get a lot of those things. Let Chinwe and the team know that this is what you're interested in, and they'll make sure they get you the content. But if you're itchy to do it, for data science, there's a freecodecamp.org. You can also get beginner courses there that will teach you the basics you need to go into data science. There's also a website called datacamp.com. They have paid courses, but they also have some free courses that you can begin to at least get the basics on. Which of the fields of IT is the most promising? They are all promising. It depends on where your interest is. Eating new cheginaya, you make a good career either ways, right? It's not a problem. Is which one do you want to do? How serious are you? How serious are you? That's basically what it's all about. How will a person that will undergo this training? Must anybody who undergo the training have a laptop? I don't think so. It says in the ad, it was a phone and internet access. That's where you can start with. So once you have a phone that allowed you to attend this Zoom meeting, I'm sure you can do that. Cybersecurity. Oh, another thing I'll say, so somebody said, where do I start? And I said Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp is one, and a community is another. You need a community, right? So you need to be around people who are also interested in the same thing. Okay, very, very important. This program is one of them, a very good starting place. People who are like you, who are in the same state, who are interested in tech. So you guys, I'm sure there's a community that allows folks to connect. You should take advantage of that. Also look at other communities like the Google Developer Group, Google Students, what was it called? Google Student Groups, right? There are a lot of communities out there that hold events that get together in your location. Find one of them, go there, and just meet other people who are like you, who are hustling for the same kind of thing. It will be care, as they say, so that you give each other ginger to move forward, right? Okay. I'll take 3 more questions. There are a lot of questions. Maybe Chinwe and team, if you could send me the questions, I'll be happy to respond over email. Yes, so let me see the ones that will be the most. Let's see. A lot of the questions are about the program, so I will leave those to Chinwe and the team to answer. Free courses. So Ife Chukwuzodima is asking about how to get free courses for digital marketing. So each of these platforms have, first of all, if you go on YouTube, there's a ton of free content there. But if you want specific to, let's say you want to learn marketing on Facebook or Instagram or, whatever other social media platform, I know that Facebook, for example, has a digital marketing course that is free and is online that you can do, right? So you just search for it, you'll find it. Just search for Facebook digital marketing, free Facebook digital marketing course on Google, you'll find it. Let's see. Okay, I'll take one more question. So Onyedika Collins is asking, what do you mean by technology is not all about coding? Are we unlearning some things? No. Anything you can learn, you learn. But why I said that is that some people are scared. They're like, hey, I'm not a coder. I don't want to be a coder. Does that mean I can't have a career in tech? No. In my field today, like at Google, when I worked at Google, when I worked at Facebook, even now in Okta, very few people who work in those companies started their career as a software developer. I know somebody who worked at Google today. She leads one of their top programs in France and Europe. She started with a career in linguistics, right? She speaks 7 languages, but she learned a little bit of web design. And before you know it, she became very good at what she was doing and she got hired. Another person I know used to be a member of the cultural dancing troupe in Morocco, right? But today she's one of the, at least last time I remember, she was the leader of one of the tech partner teams out of London. But she used to be the leader, she used to be in the cultural dancing troupe. But because she was interested in internet stuff, she was the one who designed their cultural dancing troupe website. And that was how she got into tech. That's how her own journey started. So your journey can start from anywhere. Your journey can start from anywhere. I know somebody who is a top consultant today out of the UK. She started as an architect. So the main thing is the interest you have and the people you surround yourself with. If you don't take anything out from today's session, let it be that. How much interest do you have? How gingered are you? How motivated are you? That's one. Who are the people you are communicating with every day? If you spend your days communicating and talking about other stuff, I'm not going to even go into that. That's the way your life is going to go. But if you spend your time with people who are going for the same mission as you, you guys are always talking about career, tech, code, and so on. They say iron sharpened iron, Abby. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to end here. I'm way over time. I wish I could spend more time, but alas, this is where we are. If there are more questions, please, I'd love to get them and I'll always respond. But thank you for having me. I really, really, really appreciate this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. Anytime I get to talk to my people, that's so life be, So I'm really, really, really honored to have had this opportunity. Thank you so much.